Hi guys, welcome back to Locus Academy, and in this video we're gonna do solving of monic trinomials and non-monic trinomials, and we're going to try and do a couple of problems such as this. Now remember, monic trinomials is a quadratic equation with the a right here equals 1, so really it's a simple one. We're gonna try to solve x squared, take away 4x plus 3, and obviously it will be equal to 0. That is kind of a year 9, year 10 level, and we're just going to go straight ahead. It's actually pretty easy. Solve x squared, take away 4x plus 3. Now, how do we solve this? Easy. Let's use PSF, which is product sum factor. Or I just abbreviate it as PSF. Basically, we want to find the product of two numbers and also the sum of two numbers. There's a bit of trial and error going in there. So I want to find two numbers that if you multiply, I'm going to create two things here, a box and a triangle, equals this number right there, 3. And also those two numbers, they must be the same numbers that we guess if they add up to this number right here, which is a -4. Can you think of two numbers that can do that? Pretty easy. We can do -3 and -1. And if we do -3 and -1 here, it'll give you -4. So now we have the two numbers. There's a bit of trial and error there. Trial and error. But it's pretty fun to do, I guess. We are going to rewrite the -3 and -1 pretty much into the equation. Now let's have a look here. X take away 3, x take away 1 equals 0. But hold on, is it really the same? Let's have a look here. X take away 3 and x take away 1. If we do the FOIL, if you remember FOIL, that's first, outside, inside, last. If we do this, we're going to do x squared, and outside we're going to do x inside -3x, and we'll try to expand this, plus 3 equals 0, and voila, in fact it is exactly the same as the equation before. If you look at this, it's exactly the same as that. So really we were factorizing it to finally be able to solve it. Let's rewrite the equation after it's factorized. X take away 3, x take away 1 equals 0. So now, with quadratic equation, usually we have two solutions. We're going to do either x take away 3 equals 0, or x take away 1 equals 0. Those are the two possibilities pretty much. So x could only be 3 here, or x could be 1 there. Now, if you substitute back 3 or 1 into the equation right here, you are going to get a 0 in the end. So that's the magic of product and sum factor, using the trial and error, find the two numbers, and as easy as that. Now, we are going to try and solve non-monic trinomials. Now this is slightly more challenging perhaps. What is non-monic trinomials? It's where a, we call it a coefficient, it's going to be not 1, so it's going to be something else, and this takes a little bit more steps, but not too hard. Let's have a look here. 4x squared take away 6x plus 2 equals 0, and we're going to try to solve this. The trick here is the same, product and sum factor. With a little bit of trick, we have to find two numbers that if you multiply, you will get not 2 but 4 times 2, which is 8. But when you add, it will be still a -6. That's a little trick or a little shortcut for you. Now we are going to find out what two numbers, they multiply, it becomes 8, and if you add, it becomes a -6. Well, I kind of prepared this video beforehand, that's why I know straight away. -4, -2, It's quite easy. It's really fun when you're able to do that a couple of times, a little bit of practice, and you'll get the hang of it. -4, -2, and that is our final two numbers. Now, what do we do with these two numbers? We're going to try to rewrite that. Now, notice that this is going to play a major factor, -6x. What I'm going to write down here is use the two numbers to rewrite the whole equation. 4x squared, look at this, take away 4x, I took 4x from there, take away 2x, I took -2 from there, plus 2 equals 0. Now, the funny thing about it is, this whole area here is in fact the same as the -6 over there. So it really doesn't change anything. It's just rewriting it into a more solvable form. Now, what do we do with this one? Factorize this and factorize that. A quadratic equation, there's lots of factorization. So I'm going to factorize 4x squared, take away 4x. I'm going to factorize 4x out. It's going to be x minus 1. Well, I'm going to factorize 2 out. It becomes x. And don't forget, that becomes a -1. Take away 0. Now, by grouping in pairs, factorize by grouping in pairs, I know that this x take away 1 can be factorized out. So I'm going to factorize this out. X take away 1 and 4x take away 2 equals 0. Voila, and now we can solve it easily. There will be two solutions just like before. X take away 1 equals 0, or 4x take away 2 equals 0. What are you going to get after this? Easy. X could be 1, or 4x equals 2, and x is pretty much when you divide it by 4, 2 over 4, and x equals 1/2. There you go. That's how you solve monic and non-monic quadratics or trinomials with product, sum, factor. Enjoy. I'll see you in the next video.